Hi everyone, and welcome back to my now regular Sunday evening rant or talk. And today it's really going to be a rant on different topics. For starters, there's now a bougie Aldi in my town, in the centre of town, of course. And you can tell it's bougie because the shopping carts are smaller and there's hand baskets that you can comfortably shop in. Fruit and veg is a lot cleaner and healthier, and many of the sorts of fruit and veg are already cut, presented really nicely, and pan ready or cleaned and brushed, and something that we don't get in a normal Aldi. The wine section is very well presented and displayed, and in the bakery section, I've seen about 40 kinds of baked goods that I've never seen before. So you can tell that the intent of this store is to cater to the more sophisticated tastes. However, I give it 1 month max until it looks like it's been raided by the Huns, because what's going to happen is everybody's going to notice that this store is a lot nicer than the other ones. Everybody's going to come shop here because it's in the middle of town, which is something that I am living in Eastern Europe, I am totally used to. Like, I'm used to having grocery stores where I live and not having to hop in a car and drive for at least 20 minutes to go to the store. And I'm used to having options. Like, even when I lived in Bucharest, I lived within walking distance of a mall and about 3 or 4 kinds of supermarkets. So moving to Germany has been quite the shock. Here you have to take the bus or a tram or something else to get to do your groceries, or you have to pay a lot more to shop at those really highbrow stores where only old people shop, because old people with money. So yes, we've come full circle. We now have a bougie Aldi, and Aldi used to be such a store for poor people, and now it's bougie, and it's catering to that kind of more pretentious and more demanding audience. But yeah, it will be fun to see how it's going to play out. Something else that I wanted to talk about is friends and your own special interests. Not special interests in that way, but here's my situation. I make it no secret that ever since the first trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout dropped, I gained a very enhanced interest in Henry Cavill. Like, before, I knew that he exists and I left it at that. But now I really like the guy and I follow his career. But I've got friends who insist on demonizing him for personal reasons. And, you can't argue with that. But the same friends are asking me to never mention him in their presence, because otherwise there's going to be sanctions and I'm going to be deprived of their friendship. So I guess it's their right, but this is something that I've experienced a lot of in my life so far. And trust me, it's very tiring to always have to edit yourself for every person in your life. And at some point, it gives you the feeling that you're supposed to unconditionally love everyone, but the same sentiment is not returned to you. Because I'm supposed to edit myself for every individual person in my life in a different way. Like, my mother doesn't want to hear me talk about this and that, and my friend X doesn't want me to talk about Henry Cavill in their presence, and another friend can't stand me talking about something else. And I'm like, what do you do? What happens when everybody else is telling you you are absolutely unacceptable the way you are? You can't talk to us about the things that excite you because we hate those things and we have no airtime for them. At what point, how do other people handle this? Because I definitely can't edit everyone out of my life. Because if I cut out every person who is asking me to edit myself in their presence, I'm going to be all alone. And I definitely don't know what to do. I have no idea how to handle this because I don't want to lose my loved ones and my friends, but I also don't want to always tremble in fear that what if I say something wrong? What if I get people and topics mixed up and I mentioned something from a topic that you forbade me to talk about and I forgot about it, I got it mixed up and I still mentioned it in your presence. Is that going to cost me your friendship? So, yeah. I mean, we do live in a cancel culture, and I do have to wonder, like, there are people who arguably and objectively have done a lot more hideous things. Like, why am I putting it like this? Like, people love to hate Henry Cavill, sometimes without reason, because they don't like his face, because they don't like that he's Superman, they don't like that he gets to play Geralt, whatever. They have all sorts of subjective reasons, and as much as I hate to admit it, they're entitled to it. But just because you hate the guy doesn't mean that he is a bad person. He may have done some mistakes, he may have handled some things in the past in the wrong way, but he's definitely not the only one, and there's a lot more white dudes who have done a lot more serious things that have been forgotten and glossed over completely because they're fandom darlings and they appear in popular movies and stuff like that. And I think it's a bit unfair. But again, I don't know, like, what do you do? Do you drop your interests to fit in? Like, do you just cut everyone out of your life? Like, you decided, are you very stern with people and like, oh, so you're asking me to edit myself to enjoy your company? Then off you fuck. You don't deserve my company if I have to edit myself for you. And I don't think it's the same, like, I understand if somebody asks me to, like, for instance, not mention the kind of trauma they went through. But even then, I'm not going to be very comfortable doing that. But I will still do it because I care about people enough to do that. However, when you just have this idea that's very subjective, that only exists in your head as a foundation for telling me what to be excited about. Oh, and that's something else, something that I think about many times, because I often have to listen to other people talk about things that excite them and be tolerant of their interest, even though some of them have interests that piss me the hell off. And I have to listen and be patient and not explode and not say, hey, you're not allowed to talk about that thing in my presence. Otherwise, you have to look for somebody else to listen to your crap. But for me, it's two different things. Maybe you don't like hearing about Henry Cavill. Okay, fair enough. But maybe, as my friend, you should be a bit happy that I'm happy. Happiness comes in such small, rare doses. And it's not available. Like, I'm a very depressive person. I've been depressed since I was 13. And I'm not doing it to spite you. I'm not picking interest in people whose careers I follow just to spite you, just to hurt you on purpose. I'm just looking for these brief moments of happiness that I can lose myself into, so I don't have to think about how hopeless and without exit my current situation is. Like, if you can't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. And I don't think that I should continue editing myself in order to please absolutely everyone. Because, at this point, I'm thinking maybe I will be left all alone. But is it worth, like, having nobody in my life who accepts me for who I am and for what I like? Because on a person-to-person basis, I myself am able to decide whether I want to engage with a person or not. Because even in the Henry Cavill fandom, there are so many people who have this very unhappy and rude approach to being a fan of this guy. People are saying and writing things online that they would definitely not say or write if their mothers were present. And I'm not going to say that if Henry was present, because there are a lot of people who are disrespectful to Henry to his face. And he's always a gentleman and handling it like a king. But I don't fuck with those people. But at the same time, I also don't expect people from outside the fandom or people who couldn't give a shit that, I don't know, Henry Cavill is advancing his career and doing interesting and exciting things. I don't expect those people to get into Henry Cavill for my sake. I'm expecting them to tolerate the fact that for the moment, this is what makes me happy. And I don't know, it's exhausting. If it was just one person asking me to avoid one topic, it would be fine. But every person in my life, almost, barring 2 people, are asking me to edit what I talk about and my interests and everything around them. And it's exhausting, like I said. I no longer know what to do. Oh, and another topic that I wanted to discuss was, what do you all do when you're constantly in pain? I've been experiencing incredible back pain, and I know that it's because of sitting at my desk for very long periods of time at work, and because it's winter, I don't get to go out very often, and my energy levels are pretty shitty. Because during the week, I don't get to see the sun, like at all. I leave my house when it's still dark, and I go into the office, and I only leave it when it's already dark again. So I'm missing a lot of serotonin and a lot of the good chemicals that make people happy. And, I know that some people, some sadists are going to say, well, go to the gym, you'll feel better. But I barely have energy, to maintain myself. I barely have energy to get into a bath, because I know that the bath is going to be beneficial and it's going to help me. And I use one of those special oils that you put in the bath to get a more relaxed back. And yes, that helps, but it helps momentarily. Then the week starts and the pain is back. I even have one of those pain mats with spikes on it that I lie down on. And again, that gives me a rush of endorphins in a moment, but then it wears off after a while. And I guess I should resume yoga, and I guess I should resume yoga on a daily basis, which is going to mean that I'm going to have even less time to do my favorite thing, which is writing. So yes, I'm at a loss. And I know that probably if I worked out regularly, like at least once a day, I would probably feel a lot better. But when and where? I've got weights, I've got things to work out with at home, but I'm always scared that I'm going to drop one of them on my cats who like to come and rub against my legs at the worst of times. Or, I don't know, I don't like working out with an audience. And, yeah, it's complicated. And I definitely don't want to start paying for a gym subscription only to then decide every day that I am way too beat after work to also go and work out. Because here's another thing. On Saturday, I had to go to the post office, and right in front of me, as I was climbing the stairs to the post office, 2 guys exited the gym that is right next to the post office. And I could smell them from 3 meters away. And I was like, please, 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 guys, don't go into the post office. But they did. And there were like 7 people in front of them, and I had to stand in their stench. Like, holy shit, people. The gym has showers. Genuinely. Use them. Also, on Saturday, I discovered this new Axe body spray product. This is green mojito and cedarwood scent, and for once it doesn't have that fuckboy fragrance compound in it, and it smells actually super great, and I bought it and I've tested it. And for 48 hours, like for 2 days, you won't stink, guaranteed. Why don't people use at least deodorants? If not showers? I would definitely be very, very miffed because I am forced to deal with all sorts of stenches, whether at work or on the tram or in town. I would definitely not enjoy being in the massive stereo stench at the gym as well. So yeah, how do you guys deal with pain? What do you do against it? Well, thanks for listening to my rant, and feel free to leave comments if you've got something to say, some advice to give, or I don't know, some insights to offer. Bye!